It's always lights, camera. People say connect, but we say contract. Now, when we say lights, camera, and contract, there's another statement which I want to share. We always see something called BTS, behind the scene. We always see behind the scene papers, not cuts and reels. Now, let me explain what it is. When we say talent, see, in media and entertainment industry, there are a lot of agreements, producer agreements, licensing agreements, reshoot agreements. But what I wanted to share with you today is on talent agreements exclusively. Now, talent is something which is attributed in media entertainment from the point of view of artists. Could be music, could be dance, could be anything in the domain which is an individual trait which people perform and leverage upon for a commercial benefit. Now, let me break it down. As a talent, instill a talent in you, you are actually supposed to negotiate before you commercialize your recordings. Let's put it very simple. What you should know when you are negotiating. Common thing what we know is how much I am getting for my work. Now the catch is, where your work will be used, are you aware of? Today, people start the journey of influencer from Instagram handle. As the followers go up, the handle goes up, you expect revenues to go up. This is expectation. Now there are two questions. Can someone take the dialogue, re-record something from it? Can someone use the entire video for some other purpose? These are the two questions which we have. Third question is, if we are sharing it again and you are trying to re-record it, who has the rights? I'll jot it down very carefully so that it is for general public to understand how this agreements run. First thing what you should know is, if I am recording, what are my limitations? If I am compensated, where do I get compensated? If it is on a platform, do I get any benefit from that particular platform? From Instagram, only thing which is known is a paid partnership. But if you are recording it on platforms like YouTube, Spotify, and any other music platforms, there are other acts which play a vital role. Which is, first of all, you should have something called NFT, non-fungible token, which talks about your digital asset identity. This work belongs to me. I have to clearly identify through a certificate, because what you are actually trying to leverage is a copyright. And the most important thing in a copyright is ownership. There are only two things. You have to say, I am the owner, and someone infringed. These are two things which you have to prove. Who has infringed your right? What is your right? If you don't have a digital certificate with you, you don't have an NFT with you, then ownership is questioned. Infringement is also questioned. Confusion at two ends always is disastrous. So first, you should have an NFT which is proof of ownership of your work. Second, if there is an infringement, you should know how the infringement is identified. Any infringement is questionable in the court of law, and you can get compensation for the same. Now, you have decided upon something, you're working on it, and you have developed it. This is a music which you have prepared for yourself, tuned it, and you are very happy with it. Now, you go to a music director and say, look, I have developed this. I want you to leverage it on commercial side. I am assigning you rights. Same story again. You have to first prove the ownership with him, and then enter with something called talent agreement right. I'll play this again for you. This becomes an assigned or exclusive copyright for you, and there are exclusivities recorded. Where the music director is supposed to use the music, on what platforms, how much compensation do you get, what are the limitations. If there are any promotions to be given by you, you have to limit on promotions. Commonly used one phrase called any additional work. This is a common thing which any talent agreement will have. What is this any additional work? You should speak, demand a clear-cut list. If it is not there, adjusting the camera also will become an issue. which is not your job at all, but it can be an additional work. You have to be very clear on what are the additional works there. If there is any promotional, charitable organizations come up and say, you play for us, this is a crowdfunding activity. Your exclusivity clause has to detail and say what are the limitations, where can you play, where you have assigned the right to them. So any music which you have played and you are owning that, you are supposed to have a clear understanding on compensation and exclusivity rights. Let me talk about the other aspect called if someone acts. Then there is something called image and likeliness. How is your image used? All of you must have seen cricketers coming up and saying, this is a good bond. You must have seen people coming up and advertising for paints also. Cricket and paints are not connected. But still, advertisement runs. Why? This is an image and likeliness. People like that particular person. That person becomes brand ambassador for a particular paint. They read, listen to the ad, be satisfied, and then purchase it. This is called emotional purchase. Now, what does this person? Now, you have reached to a level where you get an image and likeliness. You have an Instagram which has about 30 lakh followers. Now, you want to leverage it. Your image can give you a co-branding activity. What do? You sign something called an endorsement agreement, which clearly tells when it has to be used, how many years, what is the cooling off period, what is the payment given to you. If it is reused, how it can be reused. Now there is one interesting point. They give you a script, they ask you to actually speak. That is recorded and that is telecasted as an advertisement. Now we'll have something called artist creative control. You don't like that statement, you don't want to say it. You say it in a different way. This is what is called script disagreement. They gave you something, you don't like it, you said something, now there is a rift. This creative control scope has to be written before. How much content of script can be edited? What can be changed? What is the percentage of change? If there is any offensive word, how that can be treated? You have to sign the contract before actually coming to shooting. Else, the cost of shooting will come on your head. If a scenario happens where there is a catastrophe, a war-like situation is there, you don't know what to do, you have a schedule, you should have something called a force majeure clause in your agreement, mandatory. Force majeure clause says, this is not in your zone, something happened in nature, something happened in the country, and you have to see that the shoot or the schedule has to be called off. You need to know what is the exit term, what is the termination clause. Every agreement may run into 3 pages, may run into 300 pages. But this is the crux which you have in the agreement which is important. Clause number 1, what are your exclusivity? Clause number 2, what is your compensation? If there is any reshoot, if there is a reevaluation, how is the compensation worked out? If after some time you want to recreate the entire story, what are the rights which you have? Either your master ownership is damaged or not. It should be written particularly, and your exit clause. Be sure that these documents are there with you, not in your mails. You have to scan the physical document, have the NFT token attached to it. This becomes genuine original document, then store it in your G drive. Because it is human. When you actually receive your agreement, you don't find it. So you should always have it in digital form, physical form, which can be accessible, retrieved, and enforceable. That's what I wanted to share. And be sure all your agreements are focused with detailed recital. And one thing which you should always remember, go to a person who is expert in that domain. What I mean by that is, if you are trying to check your legal contract, don't go to an advocate who has made many reads. Cross verify, check whether he has expertise in preparing such agreements. Experience is not white hair. Experience is person knowing the subject, practicing the subject, getting relief to their case. This is what you have to check. before going for an opinion. You are doubtful, go for second opinion. Further doubtful, go for third and fourth opinion. Don't sign till you are clear that your rights are protected. Thank you for listening.